because those blocks will help us extend and we can press more into them sometimes. So you can still get a really, really good deep stretch by utilizing those blocks, okay? All right, so just come into your nice seated position, getting to know that chair, having your sits bones, those feet of our spine, connect to the base of your chair, the seat of your chair, and find your vertebrae stacking one on top of the other, your chin lifting a bit, your drishti gaze straight ahead, shoulders pulling down and releasing and relaxing with every breath that you take, especially your exhale. Noticing on your inhale, you're not lifting the shoulders up too. We'll do that in a little while. Right now, let's just let those shoulders pull as far away from our earlobes as we can, maybe taking a close of the eyes. See how big and expansive you can make your rib cage, your belly, all the way into that chest cavity. It's kind of like my hands here. Expanding out, pulling together. Let's do 2 or 3 more like that, please. Good. And just resting. Hands on your thighs. Slip them down to your knees and let's work into opening that spine with our breath. Holding at the knees, coming with chest forward towards you, lifting the bridge of my nose up, lengthening through my spine and feeling that in the lumbar spine. Instead of flowing right now, I'm going to put a little bit of weight into my palms, extend my fingers out. Palms are on my thighs, up by my knees, pulling down my shoulders, okay? Letting the bridge of my nose again, rising up without coming into a real deep compression in your neck. Let that spine be long, yet a little bit curved in that lower part, okay? Press a little bit more into your hands. Extend that energy through your arms, into your fingers. Let your heart come towards me a little bit more. Chin is tilted up. Let's take 2 more breaths, holding into this. Big expansive breaths. Good. And then before we do anything else, come back into straight spine. Just release the strength that you put into your arms, keeping yourself in that upright position. Okay. And then let's slide our hands again. And let's pull ourselves shoulders forward now. Chin towards chest. Heavy head releasing. Shoulders now pulling down away from your ears. After they pull forward, then let them pull down. Have this, looks like a really bad posture spine right now. So Bithilasana and let's see, what do they call the other one? But anyways, cat-cow do have Sanskrit names. And, oh yeah. But generally people use cat-cow because it is just easier to say and it kind of looks like what we're doing. And now let's go ahead and lengthen through the spine again. Feel yourself nice and long. And now let's take that flowing, all right? So heart forward, gaze lifting, inhale. Exhale, curl and tuck and round and stretch into that spine. Pull down your shoulders away from your ears. And then continue. I've got a little chihuahua hanging out with me. So no big dogs today, but you might see a chihuahua coming by. The other night, I was doing my, well, at 6 o'clock here, 7 o'clock evening, sunset yoga class in the grass. And he was around, and thank goodness he didn't pee right in front of the camera, but everywhere else he seemed to find a place to pee. So I'm glad I'm on the porch. He's less likely to do that. Let's take 2 more rounds of this cat and cow. It's a nice, steady, slow way to connect our breath. With our movement, come on back here. And now let's extend one arm up and one arm down, kind of at this angle here. And I'm going to scoot over just a bit so that I have a little more range of movement. I'm right next to this wall. So one arm's down, one arm is up, so that if we were to roll a marble down, it would go straight down, okay? Stretch out. Try to pull in at your navel point so that you're not releasing the heart forward right now, or the lumbar spine releasing. Just stretch your hands, let them go. Let your arms open. Feel that difference with one arm stretching upward, the other stretching down. Open up your fingers, see if you can stretch a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, go ahead and release both arms down. Just note any difference right now. And now this arm is going to come up. This one is going to stay down. See if you can get that same angle. So if we were going to measure, right, we would be having the same angle. Stretch those fingers out. Feel that opening through your chest. And again, try not to round into or curve into that lumbar spine. Send that energy in both directions, okay, diagonally. One more big breath here. Inhale, really lengthen. Exhale, and slowly bring those hands on down. Nice, good. And let's take a few shoulder rolls. Really letting our body come forward with our shoulders, pulling our body back with our shoulders. So as I pull back, I come into a bit of an incline, or that would be more of a recline. This is the incline. So I recline, but I'm holding in with a straight spine. So I've got to use some effort in my core. Forward, straight spine, up and back. And let's reverse that now, okay? Come on back. Squeeze up, pull forward, exhale. Using breath. Getting my torso activated too. My core. At least this little chihuahua doesn't block the view when he comes walking around. There we go. And now let's let one arm drop to the side. Let the other one just be loose, okay? And this one be loose. But our torso can't be loose or we would fall over. So we've got to engage right in through here, okay? In through our obliques. But letting everything else kind of just relax and be. Let my head relax and be. Feel that opening right there. Into that trapezius. Yeah. Good. And let myself slowly rise up. That's all coming from right in here. Okay. Keeping my spine straight. That takes core engagement. Now I'm coming over. Loose. Okay. Letting everything be loose. Letting my sits bones, though, stay grounded. My feet stay planted. My knees stay forward as I keep letting myself just be, oof. Now I let my head go. That made a difference in that opening across the top of my shoulder area. But again, be protective of your neck. If that does not feel good to let it go, then keep it more upright, okay? And then I'm lifting up. Let's all do that. Big inhale, big sigh out. Good. Let's take our hands behind us. Interlace your fingers, okay? Push down, squeeze. If this is a lot on shoulders, take your hands right here or on the side of your hips. Okay, back of your hips or the side, or interlace fingers and let your heart be exposing itself. So that our heart release outward so we can send our loving energy to Josephine and her family and to anyone else that we know of that might need that extra love today, extra radiance. And then bring yourself back up. Take your hands down. Let's take our fingers to the top of our shoulders. Lift up and let's make some circles here. Okay. So we're circling in with the shoulders, but we're not, doing like we did before with that forward and backward motion. This one we should feel maybe a little more here in our trapezius. We're going to feel it in our wrists because our wrists are bent. Feel it in the elbows because they are bent. And we're still keeping that nice, straight, steady, strong spine. And I'm going to go back now. And use my breath. In. Lift with that inhale. Exhale, pull down. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And then let's take and make some wrist circles. And take them on up. I'm going to kind of be bringing my arm instead of straight out, maybe a little bit bent on that side so I don't brush up against the stucco of the house. Let's grab my hand. So just if I'm doing that doesn't mean you all necessarily need to do that. Do what feels right for you, okay? And then shake them out. And then let's do a little bit for our wrists again. Go ahead and interlace, but maybe the opposite way. So my natural is to go left over right. I'm going to unnaturally go right over left. And I'm just going to bend my elbows and I'm going to make some figure eights with my interlaced hands and getting into the wrists there. I hear you guys have had some rain there. Mark said there was a beautiful rain, of course, through the night, but at least yesterday morning and day, which was good because then he didn't have to water it. My 2.5 hours of watering over it, my plants. Now, see if you can go and make that figure eight in the opposite way. So anyways, when we do have that moisture, which is rare for us, I know, but again, moisture and then cold, but I know we don't have that. Then we get that kind of achiness in our joints. Really important to move our joints, right? Move it all. If you don't move it, you lose it, right? And we don't want to do that. All right, so now let's go ahead and take one hand to that leg of the chair and not holding on necessarily, but using it as a support system. We're going to take the other arm up, take ourselves over into that nice stretch, okay, to the side body. And from here, let your fingers expand and then pull down, exhale into cactus, one arm cactus, release, lengthen, and exhale down. Go ahead, you guys, do that on your own accord, your own breath. One more. Nice. Lengthen. Lift. Lengthen. Release. Notice that difference in the sides of our body. This one should feel really warm and really activated. A lot of blood moving right through here, right? This one saying, hey, pay attention to me. So let's slide down here. Let's lift this arm up, keeping sits bones planted. Again, keeping feet grounded. Let's get into that stretching. Stretching into the side body. Taking your bicep maybe closer to your ear. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Pull on down. Inhale. Your breath pace, you guys, okay? Your speed. We all might be looking a little bit different depending on where our energy is, where our breath is. And breath is energy. I call that prana, that life force. Breath, we have no energy. One more here. Stretch on back and big, long. And bring yourself up. Yeah. And exhale. Boom. Let that arm come down. And feel the arms. And let's just let them float a little bit. We've had some nice energy. And let's let that just energy kind of release through our fingertips. Taking it on up. Lying it up. And then when you reach here, let's see if you can take your wrists together and your hands kind of open, right? Take your wrists down towards the crown of your head. And then bring your hands up. Let those fingers work into the joints of the fingers too. Come on down. And we'll get to Sherry's joints of the knees as well. Come on down. One more time, up. Exhaling, taking it down. Feeling that opening right on the front side, top side of your wrists. And exhale, let's take our hands on down. Good. All right, so for knees, let's go ahead and keep one foot planted. Let's bring one up and take your hand underneath the thigh, okay? And lean back a little bit. You can lean back all the way to the back of your chair if you like. You want some core engagement away from the back of that chair. You can lengthen your arms, so you can keep them bent. You can go no arms, okay? All kinds of options here. And then from here, let's go ahead and let the knee and that lower leg be nice and loose, right? And let it take those circles, not jerking any way at all. Just let them be loose. It's supported, right? Supported with our hands or supported with our core. So find that for you guys. And then let's go around the other way. Loose. And then bring up your leg. Lift up your body. So if you were leaning back, lift up. So there can be a big bend in those elbows if you're using that as a support there. Lift a little bit more. Lengthen out. Slowly lengthening. Push through the ball of your foot. Okay, not your toes so much, but the ball of your foot. And hold on to the muscles in your knee joint. All right, so activate those. So we've got a little bend in the knee and we're activating all those muscles. Sometimes that knee just takes realizing there's so many muscles there because otherwise it kind of does its own thing. And we need to support those muscles, bring them in, and you're going to feel when you do that because the muscles of your quadricep will also engage, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and just bring that foot in and take it out one more time. This time I'm going to come into flexed. But again, I'm not pushing out so much that I totally lengthen that knee. I want a slight bend, okay? Pull in those muscles around the kneecap. Pull in the muscles on your thigh. Again, you could be like this, or you could be holding, or you could go up and down, up and down. So you're supporting, then you're seeing what it's like to not support, and then you're bringing it back. And then go ahead and bend in and place that foot down on the ground. Okay, let's do the other side. Leaning back, holding on, maybe reversing that interlacing if you are interlacing. And then we're going to go ahead and take those kind of loosey-goosey circles, right? Just kind of letting centrifugal force take over in that circular motion so that we're not doing a lot of kicking at all, no kicking, okay? But as we're doing this and you are leaning back, you're feeling it right here, okay? Now I'm reversing that a little flow of my lower leg and knee. And again, no kicking and no contracting right now. It's all real released, okay? And I'm gonna sit up a little bit higher and a little bit taller. And I'm gonna extend my leg, but not lock it out, okay? Have a little bend. Pay attention to those muscles right around the knee. Take those muscles and attach them into your quadricep as well. I've got my foot pushing out with the ball of my foot. My hands might be here, or I'm doing some of this, where I'm saying, okay, let me get a little bit in the core, but then I'm coming back, because if I just held it, that might be too much. Or you can just hold it, or you can just stay here, okay? You guys can do whichever feels good to you, but really right now, I want you focused on the muscles in your leg, the whole leg, but especially right there at the knee, with that little bend, focused energy right there, okay? And then go ahead and bring it in. Hold it in close to you before we go into that flexed position. Hi, Duke. Hi, Duke. And then go ahead and let's flex and hand here. But again, not flex by pushing out, okay? But really engagement right here in your knee, engagement in your quadricep. So it looks like we're doing nothing, but we're really doing quite a bit. And again, you can add on here into the core, or just stay here, or do something else with your arms that's going to take your mind off of the muscles that you're engaging all the way in your leg. Okay, you can just stay right here. It's still, you're engaging. Ooh, there we go. Bring it in and set it down. And we'll do a little bit more work with our knees in a standing position too in a bit here. But let's go ahead and open up and find yourself with straight legs instead of bent legs, right? And find yourself with, you have your blocks. This would be a really good place to have them. So I'm going to extend my feet out, my legs out, making kind of a V shape. My feet are flat on the ground. My back is long. And I'm going to maybe walk my blocks forward. If you don't have blocks, then maybe your fingers come to the ground. If you can't do that, then don't worry. Bring your hands to your thighs or your shins. Just don't let yourself fall off your chair, okay? And find a straight spine. However you're going to find that, okay? Wherever your hands are able to land, plant them. And find your crown, reaching towards me, mine towards you. Really long spine here, okay? Taking a couple breaths. Keeping focus on the soles of my feet planted on the ground. Now, can you take that same focus to the muscles of your legs, your calves, the muscles surrounding your knee, the muscles surrounding, covering your quadricep, and the muscles into your glutes. Press down with your energy into your feet. Feel your back long and your legs long, and then release that engagement in your muscles, okay? And now I'm gonna take one hand on the block to the center, and I'm going to take the other hand onto my waist. No block, then your fingers are on the ground, but your hand again is on some part of your leg, the opposite leg. And then let's come into a twist. We have that long spine. Keep the long spine, but just come into a twist with it. Your hands at your hip, your waist, the back, one shoulder pulling back, the other one coming down, and just finding that length in a nice twist here. And then slowly release. And then taking my other hand on the other block or floor or leg, And again, not letting myself come off that chair, come into hand and hip, and take it back over your shoulder. And are you breathing? I'm only asking you because I had to ask myself. Julie, are you breathing? Breathe, Julie, breathe. And then taking myself back and walking the blocks back, bend into my knees, and maybe readjust my seat on my chair, but my hands are still on the blocks, okay, if you guys have blocks. If not, your hands are here on your thighs, or maybe on your shins. We're keeping that back straight, okay, but we bent into our legs. And now, with hands on thighs, or shins, or knees, or blocks, we're gonna take our seat out of the chair and straighten our legs, okay? And I'm gonna bend my legs and sit my seat back on the chair. I'm gonna do that with an inhale and an exhale, okay? Keep going. Pressing into legs. Exhaling, slowly putting myself back in the chair, okay? How often do we just plop down into our chairs? You know, I'm really noticing my mother has lost so much strength in her legs since I saw her last. Of course, it was a year and a half ago since I've seen her, but she's quite thin. She's lost a lot of weight, a lot of musculature as well, and just weak in her legs. But she does not get up out of her chair except for to go to the bathroom and to go to bed. And therein lies the problem. We don't want to get there, you guys, okay? Gotta move. And then coming back into our seats, and then putting, if you don't have your hand on your thigh, take one hand to one thigh, one hand to the other thigh, and sitting upright again. We've been in that parallel position with our spine here for a little while, and now we're perpendicular. And I'm gonna keep my hands on my knees, take one shoulder forward, looking over that back shoulder into a twist. Had a twist going earlier. Now we're at a different position with our spine. Let's go ahead and let the other shoulder come forward and the other one come back. Bring ourselves forward. Okay, let's lift our arms up. Inhale. And exhale, right arm under left. Coming into eagle arms, or staying here if that is more appropriate for you, okay? And from here, lift and lengthen the sides of your body. And then exhale. Curl, tuck, round, elbows come into your navel. Let your chin come to the chest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbows to navel. 2 more times. Good. And then sitting upright, take your body weight forward into your feet. Come on up off the chair into our squat. And inhale, lift, lengthen your legs. Exhale, take it into your squat. Maybe it's just a little 1-inch squat. Maybe you decide I'm just going to stay in the chair. I'm going to press weight into my feet. So how, if we are in a chair, how could we get strength in our legs still? That would be using the earth, okay? Using our weight against the earth in an isometric way. And then pulling down, find that seat behind you. Make sure you land on it. Good. Release your arms and let's let them float out. And let's let our wrists release because we've been keeping them in that Gargasana eagle pose for a little while. So let's just do what we feel like we want to do right now and flip and flop and open and close. And just let everything go, okay? Good, because now we'll come back into more structure, okay, after we let everything go just a bit. Good, let's go ahead and rise up again. And then the left under right. Come here, we bring it up. And again, if that was a lot on your wrist, you might not want to try to get your hands to touch front or back and just leave them kind of relaxed, right, through that process. Inhale, we're staying in our seat to begin with, and exhale, pulling elbows into belly button, into navel, into umbilical. Inhale in. Exhale. Codo to umbilical. I think it's codo. I hope it's codo. Cheryl, you can tell me afterwards if I got elbow correct. One more. Exhale. Coming up, let's take weight into our feet and take our seat off of our seat. Exhale down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale down. Again, only coming down to that place that's right for you. Lifting and lengthening through the side body, including through that whole front abdominal area. Let's do one more. Rise up. Exhale. Let's take it down, slowly finding your seat on your seat. There we go. Releasing arms. And let yourself just go and release as you want into the arms. Okay. Eagle is really good because it works in the joints. You can tell that, right? Because your joints afterwards feel like, oh, I want to let them go. So just let them go. Good. And now our legs have been like this for a while, so we want to let them go. They have wanted to go, and we've been keeping them out. So let's let them go. Poof. Let them fall in. Come onto the inside of your feet. And here we've got some internal rotation going on. All right, so let's let our legs be that way for just a bit, and we'll do a little bit with our arms. Let's go ahead and take our hands forward and actually go like this. I don't know how to explain that. Hands flat. Take your palms into the opposite way, then interlace, okay? And then let's go ahead. Can you do this? And then can you release? Let's do that a couple more times. And working into the wrist joints. No one said they needed wrist work, but I know we're all on that computer a little bit more than we should. Notice how your hands are, which hand is where, because we're going to do that in the opposite way, okay? So let your hands come open and then let them come in the opposite way, okay? And go ahead and flip, and let's just make some circles there. Getting into the shoulders a little bit, getting into the wrists, and then come around opposite way. Churning, right? That old butter churn, and then releasing. Let it go. Good. All right, so let's go ahead now and take our legs, walk them in so that we're going to come back into a more parallel position with our feet and a more seated mountain pose, okay? And then we're going to work a little bit more into our hips, which is also going to work into our knees. So I'm going to go ahead and lift one foot, that's my right, off the ground, and I'm going to come over and cross over. And I'm going to flex, and I'm going to point, and I'm going to feel that right back here. You're going to feel that a little bit in your knee as well. So flexing and pointing, or maybe taking circles and making those noises, but doing something with your ankle. We've worked our wrists and shoulders and neck and all kinds of other areas. Let's make sure we get into our ankles as well. And then sitting up straight and tall, flex, feel that right in here, do, do. And now I'm gonna take my body weight forward, straight spine, and then I'm going to curl, tuck, round, hold onto my shin, let myself come back, and I'm gonna pull myself forward with the weight of my arms, pulling my weight of my upper body forward and coming forward, and I send back. Inhale, exhale. And I'm going to reverse that direction 3 times in the other direction. Pull myself forward. Lift heart up and let myself come back. And this just takes a little different effect into the hip joint when you're doing this. I'll do one more. This direction. Pulling myself forward. Bringing myself up. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and take my elbow of the same leg that's bent up above and just press it gently into that crease. And take and hold onto my ankles, my forearms resting all along the inside of my shin. Okay, at the same time, I'm going to take my other hand behind me. I'm going to push down, lift and lengthen my spine. So I'm pressing here, not just gently, okay? Don't go overboard. And I'm pressing behind me. And then maybe I'm going to just take a look over that back shoulder. So I have a really long spine before I come into this kind of side angled twist. And then slowly release with that long spine. And then let myself, my body come back upright. And now I'm going to take a hold of this foot with the hand. This hand, right foot, left hand. I don't know what you guys are doing. And my other hand's going to go on the inside here of my thigh. Okay. And so then I'm going to go ahead and start that twist again, coming in that opposite direction. Taking a look over, back shoulder. And releasing, coming forward. Yeah. And then go ahead and lift that leg up, place it on down, and then just pitter patter your feet a little bit. We can go back and forth, maybe take them like this, and we go in and out, back and forth, and kind of windshield wiper our legs. Okay. So again, just finding freedom of movement. Okay, let's do the other side. My right leg's staying down, my left one's coming up. I'm flexing into that foot, and I'm pointing, and I'm flexing. And when I flex, I'm gonna feel that more right in there, outside part. And then I'm gonna do some circles, which takes my foot from flex to point and all the other points in between. I'm gonna come back around, other way. This side of my body saying, oh, thank you for paying attention to me, because I thought you were going to forget me. And I just love having this sensation in my outer hip. Yeah, and then stay flexed if you'd like. Stay long in your spine. Bring your body weight forward. Okay, so I'm long, forward. You feel that more right in here. I do. And then curl and let yourself come back. Hold on to your shin, bring yourself upright, take yourself forward with a long spine as long as you can, and then let it go into curving, and then pull it back into upright. Okay, one more time this direction. Back to upright, and let's take it back and curl and forward and straight spine. Yeah. When you bring that weight forward, you're probably feeling it a little bit more in sensation into that outer hip, especially for keeping that upper foot flexed. Let's do one more. Bringing myself up. And I'm going to go ahead and place my elbow kind of by that knee crease, forearm along the inside of my left calf, my hand at the ankle. And I'm leaning over, okay? I'm kind of leaning in that direction. I'm gonna take my hand behind me. I'm gonna push down so that I can really extend my spine. Maybe I don't even go into a twist, but here I'm helping that sensation be a little bit deeper in that outer hip. Take yourself into a twist only if you feel like it. Looking back over that shoulder, but keeping your spine long as you twist into the base of the spine. And all the way up. And then letting myself come on back around. Exchanging out. So now I'm going to take this hand to my knee. I think I left it on my foot. I'll find some place. We're going to twist again, pressing back here and taking myself over in that opposite direction. Again, sensation in the outer hip is kind of what we're looking for there. And then bringing yourself back around. And let's let this leg come down. And pitter patter, in and out a bit. Maybe a little bit of getting to know our hips with our fists a little bit. Good. All right, let's go ahead and do some nice opening with a Warrior One series, okay? So I'm gonna have one leg facing out, right, knee over ankle, and my back leg is going to stay here, okay? I wanna have my chest forward, my heart forward, my shoulders forward, okay, as much as possible. And then I'm gonna lift my arms up, inhale. Really lengthening here. Looking up if that feels right for you. Interlacing, push away, maybe lengthen a little bit more. Press down into feet, into sits bones. Lengthen a little bit more. Releasing hands. My hand towards the outside leg is coming behind me on the seat of the chair. I'm pressing down. My other arm reaches up higher and I come opening up my heart. Opening up the whole entire front side of my body. And then I bring myself up. Back hand rises. The hand of the leg that's to the side of the chair comes behind me and I press down and I lift up, lengthen, open, press firmly into my feet. Remember, that's how we strengthen our legs. Press feet into the earth. And then both arms rise up. Inhale. 2 times cactus. Exhale. Rise up. Exhale down. Lifting up. Exhale. Hands come behind you. Interlace and squeeze shoulders. Open up heart. Pull in at your navel. Take yourself on down. Just about 25% here. Bring yourself up. Inhale. Exhale down. 25, or you can come into 50 if you want with a straight spine, pretty perpendicular to the ground. Lift up, inhale. One more time, 25 or 50. Bring ourselves up. Release our arms and take them on up. Inhale. And exhale, hands come down. Take my body from being forward into the center, and I'm going to, from here, take just 2 sets of cat-cow with my legs widely spread. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. And let's go ahead and move to the other side of the chair. So I'm coming through center. And then I'm taking myself, walking myself over in that opposite way. All right, one leg forward, I'm gonna move my chair and a little bit more away from this wall. And then have my other leg out towards you. Once you have your legs situated, knees, ankles, everything in alignment, I'm gonna lift my arms up. Really lengthen here. And then I'm gonna take and interlace opposite way, push away, lengthen a little bit more. Really lengthen here. Keep that length, release your arms, your hands from one another. And then outside arm comes down behind you, press into the chair, lift your heart, look back. And that front knee wants to cave in, press down evenly in your foot, and that will keep that from happening. That means you've got to stay active there. But got to isn't really true. You don't have to. You can go poof and let it fall in, okay? You do what feels like you want to do. And let's let that arm come back up. Just a reminder in case you want to keep a little more energy contraction going in there. Building of muscle strength. Take that arm down, push back, lift. Good. Both arms lift, inhale. 2 times cactus. Yes, I know that front knee wants to cave in, doesn't it? Go ahead and let it if you want. Lifting up and exhale, hands come back behind you. Interlace or place them on your hips. You guys don't have to interlace all the time. That might be a lot for your shoulders, okay? So do what feels right for you and just bow down about halfway. No, 25%. Bring yourself up. Now 50% or half. Maybe finding your spine parallel to the ground or not. Bring yourself up. Repeating one or the other. Take yourself up. Release your arms. Take your spine back. Your spine, your whole front of your body back towards that leg to the side of your chair. Lift up. And then exhale, hands come down onto your legs. Now my body comes back into that center place. And from here, I've got one leg of that chair on that diagonal, right? So I'm gonna hold on to that leg of the chair. I'm gonna walk my hands down the leg of that chair to where I feel like I've got a straight spine. Where you're at, hold on there, or you can take your hands to a block. And so we're just finding a forward fold with wide legs, okay? From here, again, hands can be right on that chair leg, okay? You don't have to come down that far. Maybe you're only here. But wherever you are, we're gonna work into our feet and our legs a bit. Lift onto the balls of your feet. Let one heel come down and then switch back and forth. So you're gonna kind of rock back and forth, bringing up one heel, then the other, pressing firmly into the balls of your feet to radiate that energy up into your calves. Good. And then from here, just take your hands to your thighs, lift yourself up, bring yourself back to the front. And we're going to do a little bit more opening and stretching and using blocks, or again, not if that's not available to you, okay? So I'm going to open up, not as wide as I was before, but maybe about the distance between the legs of my chair. And if I have a block, I'm going to use it to the outside of each of my feet. No block, no worries, just use your anatomy for what we're about to do, okay? So from here, I'm going to keep one hand on my thigh, the other one lifts up, and then I'm going to come over, and I'm going to take my hand onto that block. And I'm gonna really find that length and that strength with hand on block, or hand on thigh, or hand on your calf, okay? Really lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And bring yourself back and bring yourself up. Other arm lifts, hand stays here, or you can take it on down. You can take it on down to block. Really bringing yourself open here. And I think there's a little noise going on in the neighbors, so apologies. Really lifting, lengthening the side body here. And bringing myself up, back on from upward back into my thighs. And let's go ahead and let those legs bend in and then take them out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come from internal rotation here onto the inside of our legs, back to flat, and then back to sides of our feet, outsides of our feet. Okay, so here, inward, and make sure you've got enough space if you can do that. Flat, ouch. Okay, neutral, internal, neutral, external. Okay, one more set. Internal, here, and external. And then bring yourself here. And now take your hands to the outside of your knees. We're going to try to move our hands without moving our hands. So the hands are going to try to move the knees without moving the knees. Okay, so go ahead and begin pressing outward with your knees, inward with the palms of your hands, feeling that strength radiating up into your arms, into your chest, into your core, into your glutes, everything. Open up the fingers a little more. Press. Keep breathing. Breathe, Julie, breathe. And exhale. Release in there. Let's do the opposite now. Hands are going to come here. They're going to push out while the knees pull in. Okay, but we're not going to let anything move like we did before, right? We're not going to let that happen. Just going to use our energy against itself. Go ahead and begin anytime you want. And again, this is one of those, it's like, I don't really feel like doing it. I'm just going to pretend. Go ahead. That's okay. And I am pressing right now. And I'm feeling that energy again, radiating in a little different way since my hands are placed in a little different position. And my legs are feeling it still. Sending and radiating that energy up, down, all around. Couple more breaths here. Keep on breathing. Keep up with your strength. Exhale, release. Oof. And maybe you need to shake your arms out a little bit for that. Maybe you need to shake your legs out a little bit for that. Maybe we need to do the last thing we do today is a seaweed asana. Raise your arms up, inhale. Exhale, right under left. And let's go ahead and let ourselves go. So I'm actually like picking up sits bone one and then the other from the chair. I'm letting myself sway forward. I'm letting my feet come balls and heels off the ground. I'm letting my hips get into the picture. Okay, what do you guys need, right? And that should be your question. What do I need? What do I want? What am I going to find today that is just right for me? And releasing arms. Rise up. Exhale, left under right. Let's do that again. But that's fine because everybody's moving differently here. And your whatever you did the first time is different than what you're doing now. Even if you think you're repeating it, there's something a little bit different. Different in the angle, different in the rotation, different in the amount of movement, okay? Just let it go. Get all your wigglies out. And then exhale, release arms. Inhale up. Oh, yeah. Exhale down. My heart really feels good, this whole sternal area. Feels really open after what we've done today. So let's go ahead and sit back into your chair. That might mean that your feet come up against the ball of foot's on the ground, your heels on the front legs of your chair. If you don't have blocks, if you have blocks like we did when we were at Vessel Health, we would have blocks available for you guys. We would sit back in the chair. We would find ourselves in good alignment. And now mountain pose, this time with the support of the chair. And again, depends on the chair that you have, right? This one is different than my chair at home. But I feel, and just see what you feel, but I feel my shoulders up against the chair. Now I would need to move a little bit back farther. See if any other part of me touches the chair, but it doesn't. It's just my shoulders in this chair. And the other part of my back will feel that chair. Let's take a couple breaths. Take hands into Anjali Mudra. Thank you all. And remember to ask yourself today, what do you need? What do you want? And seek that out.